have you ever heard of the verb to be? Have you ever studied it? Oh my God, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I've heard from so many Brazilians that for years, English to you meant to be. That for years you studied just in school the verb to be. And lots of you have trauma. But please bear with me because today I want to talk about why to be is actually super important and why you can at least not hate it. Maybe you can like it and maybe even love using it. Let me tell you, to be is super, super important. And today I'm going to give you 8 reasons why you're going to start loving to use the verb to be. Yeah? Okay, let's get started. If you don't know me yet, I want to say hi. How are you? I'm Maureen Turnbull-Arbelo, and I'm the founder of Prepare Integrative Language Coaching. And it's a super pleasure to talk with you today. I inspire and empower people to find their voice, their unique accent and voice, to speak confidently, and to cross the borders of language and culture, to live more purposeful, more enjoyable, and more passionate, professional and personal lives. And it's my super pleasure to be here today because that's why I'm here, to help you do that, to express yourself using the word, to be. So let's get started. Number 1, what is the first important reason we use to be? Well, I just did it. To introduce ourselves. One of the first things we do when we meet people at a conference, anywhere we go, we're gonna say hi. I am. Of course, you learn in a lot of books, my name is, you can say my name is, or his name is. But usually, if you noticed, I introduce myself that way. I say, I'm Maureen. I'm Maureen. He's William. She's Francesca, right? Usually we actually use to be to introduce ourselves, to give our name. Super important, you're gonna wanna use that one. To introduce yourself, to give your name. Number 2, why do you wanna use to be? Well, to describe physical appearance. You can describe your physical appearance, the physical appearance of someone else, or the physical appearance of an environment, right? To describe appearance. So you're gonna say, for example, I am a brunette. Of course you can say I have brown hair, but I can say I am a brunette. My eyes are blue, right? I am tall or short, depending on where you're from, right? And you could also say this room, the walls are white, right? It is my office, right? So you can use all of that to describe the physical appearance. Again, something really important when you're describing people, when you're describing yourself, when you're describing environments. And depending on your job and what you do, it's super crucial to what you talk about almost every day. To be is so important. Number 3, to describe how you're feeling. Again, a cornerstone of almost any conversation. Hi, how are you? Right? And your answer is, I'm good. I check out the video about I'm good, I'm fine on the channel. But you're gonna say, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm tired, I'm sick, I'm whatever. He's whatever, she's whatever. That's how we describe how we're feeling. The cornerstone of any conversation, getting to know someone, saying hello, how are you, right? So to be is super, super important. Number 4, why you're gonna wanna use to be? Because it's how we describe what we do. Again, probably one of the first questions somebody's gonna ask you is, what do you do? Of course, we do many things, but when we ask that question in English, like in other languages, we're usually asking what a person does for their occupation, what their job is. And we don't usually say, what is your job? What is your occupation? We say, what do you do? So when you answer what do you do, of course you can say my job is, but very rare. You're gonna say I am. I am an integrative language coach. I am a passionate teacher. I am a passionate collaborator and entrepreneur. I am all of the things that I am, what I do, and who I am, and you are. So you're going to use that to say, I am a manager, I am a coordinator, I am an HR professional, etc. So to be, super crucial because you're going to be describing what you do professionally and personally as well. Now, number 5, we're going to talk about where we're born, our nationality, also where we come from, our hometown. All of those we used to be. I am a Coloradoan. Check out the video about my accent from Colorado, but I am a Coloradoan. I am from Fort Collins. Now I say I am an American from the north to the south because I am from the United States. I spent a lot of time in Central America and I have lived in South America for over a decade. So I am an American from north to south. What about you? Are you a Brazilian? Yeah? We use it to describe where we're from. I am from Rio. I am a Carioca. I am a Gaúcho, right? You're going to use that and you can describe for people, I am a Gaúcho because I am from Rio Grande do Sul, right? That's an amazing conversation starter because people are really interested in who you are, where you're from, where you were born, and what those words mean. People are going to want to know, what does it mean to be a Gaúcho? That is a wonderful way to get to know someone, to build rapport, to have a connection. We love to talk about where we're from, and we'd like to hear where other people are from too. And we're really talking about valuing our accent, valuing our voice, valuing where you're from. So it's so crucial for you to talk about where you're from and be proud of that. I am an American from north to south. I'm proud to be from the US, but I'm also proud that part of my life reflects that I lived in Brazil for a long time. But I also speak Spanish and I've lived in Central America. So that's who I am. I am an American, right? When we talk about that part of our identity, it's so crucial, so important, and it's so key and fundamental to our conversations. To be is so important. So now, number 6. Number 6, our personality. Also super important. Now, we end up talking about this all the time. I'm a night owl. I'm a morning person. I'm a night owl. I'm energetic. I'm sometimes not. Yeah? I'm interested. I'm super curious. I'm fascinated by language and culture. Well, your personality and physically, remember? You used to be. Again, super important. So when you ask someone as well, you're going to use to be. Are you a night person? Are you a night owl? Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Etc. Depending on your profession and what you're interested in, this is going to be so crucial for you. So to be, again, is so important because it describes our personality. We used to be. And now we go to number 7. Number 7 is the weather. Right now, it is raining. Now, sometimes we talk about the weather when we have nothing else to say, but really, we always end up talking about the weather. Today, it is raining. So I know that I'll probably end up talking about that quite a few times today because that affects what I'm able to do. It affects what I'm wearing. It affects the way I'm feeling. It affects a lot of things. The weather is super important. So when you go to a conference, when you're traveling, when you talk about where you're from, all of those things, it's a way to connect with people. When we are in a certain place, one of the cornerstones of small talk is the weather because we can relate to that. It's a way to create rapport, a way to connect with somebody. But in general, when I say it's raining, you understand what rain is. Yeah, so it's a great way to connect with someone. And that's why we talk about the weather so much. So the weather is super important, and so is to be, because that's the way we talk about the weather. So you're gonna wanna use to be all the time to talk about the weather. And number 8, now we've come to our last reason to use to be, to talk about our age. Now, some people don't like to talk about their age, but it's necessary and we can use it in lots of different ways. So for example, I am 40. I don't have a problem saying how old I am because I like how old I am. I enjoy my wisdom streaks. Yeah? But even if you don't want to talk about how old you are, you'll want to talk about how old other people are. And it's so important because in Portuguese and also in Spanish, you don't use to be to talk about age. So it's one of the biggest and most common errors people make is to say, I have 40 years. No, we say I am 40. Yeah? So we also, one of the key reasons, and one of the reasons you're going to want to use it a lot to talk and also to ask people is to talk about children. Now, I'm a mother. Are you a mother or a father? If you are, you know that you could talk a lot about your little ones. Yeah, we love our children and they're such an important part of our lives. So when you're traveling, when you're meeting new people, when you're creating connections with people, children are super important. So you're going to want to talk about your children if you have them. I have a son. He is 4. He is fabulous. All of those things I've said, his personality, he is energetic. He is curious. He is fun. He is hilarious. He is really loving, right? I could talk so much about my son and the way he is. And so can you, and so can others. So to be is so crucial because you can really create an important connection with people. Talking not only about yourself, but about your family and asking them about themselves and their family, their loved ones, their children. So that was 8 reasons why to be is so important. I hope you can see now that even though you might be tired of hearing about to be, you understand how important it is. I hope that this has been able to change a little bit the way you understand to be. If it has, tell me. I would love to hear it. Also, tell me some other reasons you use to be, if you can think of them, and how much you love to be. I hope you at least enjoy using it. I hope this has helped you see why to be is so important. So thanks so much for being with me today. It's always such a pleasure to talk with you. I can't wait to see you soon, and have a wonderful day. Much light, much love, and ciao, ciao.